He did the Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash.
Go.
Hello, citizens of YouTube land.
Hey.
It's your president and your VP. And hey, folks, like an old friend that you haven't seen for a while, here we are coming right back for you with the start of the month of Halloween horror, which kicks off this year with Monster House.
Yep.
Yes, I know it's not quite a full-on scary movie, so to speak, but it does have Halloween-esque elements.
I mean, Monster House is one of those movies, guys, that you only watch during Halloween.
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah.
So the remainder of the month of the Halloween horror will focus specifically on creature features. But until we get to that, let's begin with Monster House, shall we?
And Monster House is a semi-creature feature. If you
Directed by Gil Keenan, it stars the voice acting talents of Steve Buscemi, Nick Cannon, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Kevin James, Jason Lee, Catherine O'Hara, Kathleen Turner, and Fred Willard.
Yeah.
Those are your top your all-star cast, so to speak. It premiered on July 21st, 2006. It was made for a budget of $75 million, and it made $141.9 million worldwide.
So, actually, technically, in terms of domestic box office, it's kind of bad, which is probably why we haven't gotten a Monster House 2. But over the years, it has, in fact, become a cult classic.
And also, guys, it was nominated for Best Animated Picture that year, losing to Happy Feet. Currently, for those of you who are interested, it holds a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
All right, let's get on with it, shall we?
So the story begins with a kid named DJ and his friend named Chowder, and his friend Chowder loses his ball into the neighbor's yard.
Yeah, and his neighbor happens to be named Mr. Nevercracker, played by Steve Buscemi.
And Mr. Nevercracker is a very crotchety old man who just hollers at the kids all day. Stay off of my lawn, rah, 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 rah. But there's a reason for that.
There's a reason why he's like that.
But, so DJ, he's very intuitive as to why Mr. Nevercracker is the way that he is. And he attempts to get the ball back and everything. And it actually causes, I think I may be speeding up a little bit here, but it causes Mr. Nevercracker to go to the hospital.
Yeah, no, you're actually pretty on point for the plot of the story, but Mr. Nevercracker has a heart attack caused by stress.
And he breaks his arm. But that's later.
Actually, it's because of that, because he falls on top of DJ and accidentally breaks his arm in the process.
Yeah. So, DJ has a babysitter named Z, who, guys, I don't really like her that much, to be honest. You know, she's probably your stereotypical teenager babysitter type of character, but I don't really care for her too much. To be honest, take her or leave her.
Honestly, though, yeah.
So she has a boyfriend named Bones who kind of joins up with them. And so far, DJ's trying to warn people that maybe the house might kind of be alive. And so Bones goes
haunted.
And so Bones goes across the street and quick disclaimer, guys. For those of you who are parents out there, this is a PG movie. But it is a PG movie that you may want to screen ahead of time because it's a little bit of a hard PG.
Yeah, this movie, it's not practically G. No, it's parental guidance.
So Bones, he had been drinking a beer, and he throws.
No. You can't say that. Adult beverage.
Okay, adult beverage. He throws the glass bottle containing the adult beverage into the lawn of Mr. Nevercracker, and then Bones possibly sleeps with the fishes.
Possibly. He sees his red kite and he like grabs a hold of it, and then the house kind of like sucks him in. And yeah.
So there's this little girl named Jenny, and she is selling Halloween candy for her prep school. Because the last thing you want to do is run out of Halloween candy, because statistically speaking, 55% of the time, if you run out of Halloween candy, there is a pretty good chance that your house is going to be decorated with a certain type of tissue paper that we use in the restroom.
Guys, it's most likely your house is going to get TP'd or egged.
Yes. So, yeah. Chowder and DJ, they begin an investigation to determine if the house is really haunted. And full disclosure, their methods are a little bit gross, because I guess it's sort of parodying, if you guys have ever seen like the cop stakeout movies, where the cops are stuck in the car all night and that type of scenario.
Yeah.
Well, they tell everybody that will listen, including the babysitter and Jenny, that they had been up there all night. And they never went to the restroom. So you can figure out what they did, guys. And yeah, because at one point, DJ tells Jenny, don't drink that.
It was the babysitter.
Yeah, he tells her, don't drink that.
Yeah.
And yeah. So
gross.
Pretty gross. So guys, the movie is very well written as well. Okay, it's a very fun movie too. So as I said, so they begin their investigation, and there's a side plot of the fact that Chowder and DJ kind of have a little bit of a thing for Jenny. You know, it's kind of that first crush experience, and it's the age-old tale of when two best friends, suddenly, out of nowhere, literally, pretty much, because that's the way it happens, discover girls.
Yep.
And they make several jokes about puberty because at the beginning...
They're 12-year-old boys.
Because at the beginning, DJ, he kind of gets all excited and his voice cracks. And his mom's
serious.
And his mom's like, what was that? And so
he sounds funny. And then his dad is like, somebody's going through puberty.
So, turns out, that it's kind of speeding a little bit along though, but turns out Mr. Nevercracker, not really a bad guy at all, guys.
And he's not really dead.
No. So, spoiler on that.
Turns out Mr. Nevercracker never ate his wife either, because that was a rumor.
Yeah. So, they find out that the house is alive. To kind of speed it up a little bit here, they find out that the house is alive. The cops show up. Right, but these two are imbeciles. They're voiced by Nick Cannon and Kevin James, respectively, and they're pretty funny in their roles.
There's a pretty funny part where the Kevin James cop, because I forgot his name honestly, but Kevin James cop, he goes over to the vacuum cleaner dummy. And it's full of cold medicine, so he takes he looks at it first. He's like, "Whoo!" And he looks over at his annoying partner. He's like, "Oh," and he's like, "All right, time to take him to jail."
So Kevin James cop and Nick Cannon cop are going to take the three little kids to jail, right? The Nick Cannon cop hears something. And so he goes to investigate it. And Nick Cannon cop has like a Glock for his service weapon.
Honestly, though, it's like really big.
And he's waving it all about.
and then he like hears a rustling underneath his feet. He's like, "Freeze, tree!"
And the house yanks the Glock out of his hand and has him in these trees and is whispering, willowing him about. And then we get Kevin James Cop. He tries to help. But no. The monster house, quite literally, swallows him up.
Yeah.
And so they both might sleep with the fishes.
Yeah. So speeding up along here, guys, Mr. Nevercracker comes back in after DJ and his friends basically figure everything out about what actually happened, and that Mr. Nevercracker fell in love with this girl named Constance who has giantism.
And as a result of that, because she has giantism, and here's the thing about giantism, guys, that some of you guys may not know. There are a lot of athletes, like a lot of professional wrestlers had suffered from this throughout the years, such as the Big Show, who got his giantism cured, but Andre the Giant did not.
Yeah.
And Andre the Giant started to, he grew to a certain height, and then that was that. But the giantism then...
Yeah, and that's basically what happened with Constance as well, guys, because in the movie it shows us that she was part of this carnival, like, circus of, like, think of the movie Freaks, if you've ever seen that, you know. Basically that's what she was a part of, and people, like, threw food at her, and...
Except Mr. Nevercracker, who fell in love with Constance as soon as he saw her. You know, it was love at first sight.
And then he
says, "I'm gonna take you away from here.
I can get you out of here. Would you like that?" And she's like, "Yes."
And they go to start building a house together. And Constance probably has supernatural abilities from the beginning, because it shows that as she scoops up Mr. Nevercracker in her hands, and they're running towards the plot of land, the house is building itself. It is literally building itself right there.
No, that's just montage.
Well, still. But, okay, so it shows that, and then Constance is very upset because she had spent her entire life getting ostracized, scrutinized, children throwing vegetables at her, and this happens.
So then some kids,
on the one night of the year where kids will do that sort of thing.
Yeah. And so,
Halloween.
So they throw some stuff at her, and then they throw eggs at her, they egg her, and then she
gets enraged.
She becomes enraged, grabs his axe, but Mr. Nevercracker knows she doesn't mean to, and she doesn't want to, and tries getting the axe from her.
He tries to tell her, "You're just kids. It's Halloween." And so she stumbles, she trips, she falls, she pulls the lever for the cement truck on her way down, and she sleeps permanently with the fishes in a concrete bed.
Yeah, it's honestly really sad.
But Constance might have died,
but
her spirit, her soul lived on.
And it was linked directly to the house.
So, with all of that, it comes down to Mr. Nevercracker and DJ and Jenny and Chowder, and they have to go against the house. And the house literally becomes this monstrous form. And it's going throughout the neighborhood after these kids and Mr. Nevercracker. Okay? And then he's like, "DJ, you got to take this. You got to get it into the heart. It's a stick of dynamite," because, as it turns out, Mr. Nevercracker is a demolitions expert because he was a member of the demolition squad in the military.
Yeah. And so we see that Chowder, at first he thinks he thought he won against the house, but we then see the house start to rebuild itself again. And he's like, "You can't do that. You're not supposed to do that." And then it only takes, and at first DJ cowers out, but it takes a kiss from Jenny to finally get him to do it.
The power of love, y'all. I would say something else, but he told me not to go the CinemaSins route.
Well,
So.
you can't. Plus,
Plus, it's YouTube, so
Yeah.
we won't be like that anyway. So, anyways, guys, with the power of love, he finds the courage to get up there, get the dynamite in the chimney, cause the explosion, and it releases Constance's spirit.
and her and Mr. Nevercracker get to have one last dance before she eventually is able to move on. And Mr. Nevercracker, Steve Buscemi is probably at his best here in this, where he's like 45 years.
Yeah,
That's how long we have been trapped. 45 years, and then he's finally crying of happiness, saying that he's free. And it's like, you felt bad for him having to spend so long.
it's a real testament to Mr. Steve Buscemi's acting ability, because this is a man who could go from hysterically funny to tragic and sympathetic to downright terrifying in the blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, guys, to speed it up a little bit more, we're now into the part where the kids are going trick-or-treating at Mr. Nevercracker's house. But instead of candy, they're getting all of their toys that have been swallowed up by the house and or confiscated by Mr. Nevercracker.
Mm-hmm. And so then we see in a post-credit scene that the cops are still alive.
And right at the end of it, Bones is still alive too. So
Mhm.
nobody slept with the fishes.
Yep, the only person who actually did sleep with the fishes was Constance herself.
Yep. So, guys, that was Monster House. And what can I say about it except it's a very fun children's film. And if you're an adult, you can sit down and watch it too. No problem. It tells a really decent story about love and loss and how you can overcome tragedy and how you move on. It's actually really good in telling that story. It really is. And it's something that you don't see all that often in today's modern media, for sure, because they're so, they get their messages so confusing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all I can really say about that at this point.
This is a movie that came out almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2006, and it still resonates and still holds up today. So what can final rating for me, guys? 4.25 out of 5. What say you?
Also 4.25 out of 5.
It's a really decent film. One of the drawbacks that he had with it, that he felt the reveal was too soon.
Honestly, though, so I felt like that if they just waited just a tad bit longer, maybe when Jenny was going, like, at the part where Jenny was going to the house and they all got the reveal that it was alive, I felt like that would have been better instead of with DJ and stuff. It's a cool reveal, and I really like that, but...
And you might even have been able to trim out certain things here and there that could have, helped create an even more tight story. But other than that, guys, it is a modern classic, in my opinion. But of course, as always, if you have seen Monster House and you believe that it is the worst Sony animated film of all time, then clearly you have never seen the Emoji Movie.
I was about to go with the Emoji Movie as well.
Great minds think alike. But hey, as always, as well, just remember, we're just
two idiots with a digital camera. Our opinions do not matter, except they actually do, because we have a YouTube show. Except they actually don't.
So, having said all that, guys, stay tuned. We're next time. What are we going to do for the next one?
Lake Placid?
Lake Placid it is. This next time, it's going to be Lake Placid as we continue through the month of Halloween horror. So until then, guys, there's only one thing left to say, and that, of course, is
Peace and love from Denny and Son. Bye.